the children? Well, you could say it, but if you want to, he's a Warsaw teacher who went to abandon the children where he was a teacher and had students under his charge. And he refused to abandon them, and so he accompanied them ultimately to deportation. You want to say?
There's more to the story than that. Dr. Korshak was a Polish patriot and a Jew. And he was a doctor. He revolutionized pediatrics in Europe with the studies he did. He ran 2 orphanages, one for Jewish children, one for non-Jewish children. And he also wrote a very popular children's book that even many of the German soldiers had read when they were kids in translation. And when the war came, he was forced to close his orphanage for non-Jews and to bring his Jewish children into the ghetto. And he spent all his time, he worked until he was frazzled, trying to keep these kids fed and clothed and housed. He was amazing in what he did. Finally, during the liquidation of the ghetto, they were going to deport the children, and they offered him safe passage out because of his international prestige. He wouldn't go. He wanted to comfort the children as they were going, and he marched with them to the train with a child in his arms and then holding the hand of another child. And they said that in the ghetto, all the people who were there stood silently and watched as they passed by. And actually today he is remembered. There's the Janusz Korczak Society in Poland, another one in Israel. And in Poland, they refer to him as a Jew, and in Israel, they refer to him as a Pole, which is probably exactly the way you would have wanted it.
David, that's beautiful. You know, this is such an eloquent and articulate community. I wish you would come with me when I do my lecture on this subject. I'd love to have you with me, honestly. Okay.
Yeah, you picked up, you mentioned the word settlements, and I think it's more than on a personal level. That's a very non-subtle form of anti-Semitism, because Jewish residencies, if you will, in the Holy Land, in certain parts of the Holy Land, of a certain sized town and village are called settlements. And right next door to them are Arab, Muslim and Christian residencies are called refugee camps. And if you're in one place, you don't know who lives there, and you go to the other place, and you don't know who lives there. They really look the same. And the media throughout the world, and the diplomats and everything, every one of them, they call these 2 different places by 2 different names, when in reality, they are equivalent. And I think all of us, I don't know what else to call them, and today you can't call them anything else because then it designates only Jews live there. I think there's something, there's something that's past the point of subtlety that somehow we've got to make a change in the way the world looks at us. You know, we came from Europe, we're here, and I look in the 21st century, there were people who came here that recognized these subtleties in the so-called Free Germany before the Third Reich, and came here. We got no place else to run if it happens here. So I mean, commemorations and what can we learn from the political situation of the Holocaust, other than what happened in the camps, which was past the point of no return over there? What can we learn from that political situation that we could equate to what's going on in the world today? That we can then resist this in a way that it's not going to happen again.
Right.
And I think that's the real question.
That is a real rhetorical question, a comment. I don't want to talk too much about politics and aspects of Israel and the settlements. I believe strongly in Israel and its existence and everything that must be done to safeguard it. I also think that the settlements, like next to Arab villages that have been there for hundreds of years, that's not a great thing. And Israel has not done itself a favor. Many Israelis don't do many.
Thank you very much.
We've been there thousands of
and we
years.
were here 2,000 years,
Yes, but
not 200 live right here in Kever Raphael.
Why don't you go to?
Kever Raphael, I'm not a settler because I live where Mama Rachel lives.
Where?
Okay, and I resent the fact that you come on stage talking about it out of one mouth, the Holocaust, and how we have to remember the Holocaust. What about the Jews? What about our future?
I knew this was going to happen.
Totally different topic. It has nothing to do with
I would just say one thing to that.
It's not-
Most Israeli leaders, I just want to say that Israel right now has